Might as well try this fucking selfie stick out today then, you know what I mean? Good morning, hope y'all having a good day. It's gotta be a good one today. Yesterday was a good one, but it got a bit crazy. I ended up not really getting much stuff done. But today is going to be different because I've woken up later today for some reason. Let's crack on, let's get this shit done. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. It might be a bit shaky, but I'm liking this. I'm liking this most definitely. I look good. So yesterday was a bit of a mad day, a very crazy day, but a very productive in some senses day. Like, I started making a beat video yesterday, and the amount of sounds that I got was just crazy. I was having like mini orgasms just going through all of this stuff. But I'm gonna have to redo that today, so it's definitely gotta come out today, but I'm gonna simplify it. I tried to make it into like a 140 BPM type of tune, and because I was just ending up getting excited going through all of the instruments, all of the plugins, all of the effects and stuff like that I've got nicely, right. Woo! I didn't really get that far with it, but today it's gonna be a hip hop tune, and then we should be good. But also yesterday I got a visit off my friend. Like I mentioned yesterday that I ended up doing like an impromptu podcast, and I ended up getting a visit from a friend who was going through some of the exact things that I was talking about. You know, he was proper upset that him and his missus can't live together because for some reason social services have got involved. And then from there on he was telling me that everything was down to him. His missus has got the kid. Only his missus and her family can see the kid. He's not to have any contact unless it's organised through social services, and none of his family can see the kid. So like one of the kid's grandparents, you know, they can't see him at all. They've got no rights whatsoever. More or less all of his parental rights have been given over to the court, and then he's got to do whatever it is that the court's asking him to do, which I feel is just unfair. And to see him, you know, getting so upset about it, you know what I mean, he'd gone through a really rough time, he didn't have a job, he'd only just got himself a place to live, do you know what I mean, he had no money to be able to, like, to probably be able to keep up with future things to do with his son. And it's just disgusting how everything seems to just be stacked against him, you know what I mean. Like, I've seen these two when they've been together and with the kid. I've met the kid already, and they are some of the best parents I've seen, you know what I mean, in a while. So it just throws me how this situation has even come about, do you know what I mean? But it's just so sad to see him so upset, so depressed about it, do you know what I mean? Because that has to be affecting his mental health as well, you know, and that draws more into, you know, my focus is going to be going forward, like focusing a lot more on mental health, you know what I mean, and men's mental health, you know what I mean, because no one's really talking about it that much. Well, at all, if any. And if it is talked about, it's sort of seen as misogynistic and, you know what I mean, oppressive to women in some sense. And again, as I said, you know, in the podcast yesterday, which I'm going to have to redo today, anything that I'll be talking about in terms of men's rights is not going to be a pushback against feminism or against women's rights or anything like that. It just seems that men's rights are just pushed to the back. They just don't seem as important, you know. So that's why I just want to raise a lot more awareness, because even looking back through my life, I've seen so many men go through this type of stuff, so many dads go through this type of stuff where they just want to be there for their kid. You know, they really just want to be there for their kid, but we've got so much stacked against them as a result of, you know, just petty arguments maybe, you know. And I'm not saying that there isn't sort of volatile, abusive relationships out there where a kid should be taken away, most definitely, but it seems that any little thing means that it's a volatile relationship to the social services. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I am going to be doing the podcast again today. I'll hopefully get that out tonight. It'll probably end up being tomorrow, to be fair, because there's a lot of research that I want to do. I want to make sure I approach this right before I just sort of go off the top of the dome and just say things, and I could potentially be getting a lot of stuff wrong if I'm not careful. So probably tomorrow that podcast is going to come out But definitely today there's going to be a making a beat video, free download, free music for you guys, freshly made just for you guys. You know, if there's any rappers, singers, MCs, you know what I mean, vloggers, you know, content creators, this music is going to be for you. So yeah, you know, that was a bit serious, you know what I mean, but you know, let's keep it positive. So today we're going to get into today's motivational, inspirational, positive quote. I'm scared to laugh. I'm scared to chuckle because fucking, oh, I love you, Sam. I love you, Big Papa Sam. But that took me by surprise, that. You know what I mean? That really did take me by surprise, but it was fucking funny. It was absolutely hilarious. Like, I had a mate round, do you know what I mean, at the time when I was watching it for the first time, and we were both just pissing ourselves and that. But some of my insecurities are starting to come through a little bit. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that at all. That's just me being real in that, because going forward with these vlogs and these podcasts and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to start being real with myself as well as being real with everybody else. Not to say that I haven't been, but you know, well, let me rephrase that. I'm gonna open up a lot more. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna open up to everybody a lot more, as well as opening up for myself, for the betterment of myself. But anyway, I digress. Today's motivational quote is, very often a change of self is needed more than a change of scene. Yeah, I can relate to that quote. I can most definitely relate to that quote. A lot of times we pin a change of scene as being, you know, something that's gonna sort of solve a problem in a sense. You know, like, as an example, obviously if you've seen my Cribs episode 1, then you know where I was living before, you know, and I don't think I actually made a point of like letting people know how much it did depress me, but it fucking depressed me, being in such a small place, having back problems, and the place where I'm living sort of adding to those back problems. Because as a result, after leaving there, you know, that's where everything has been more exacerbated, because I'm using muscles probably that I haven't used in over a year. Because more time, unless I was editing a video or a piece of music, which I wasn't doing that often, if at all, when I was in the last place, unless I'm playing a game or making music, then I'm laying in bed, because I either sit in that chair or I just lie down in my bed. There wasn't really anywhere else or anything else that you could do in regards to being upright on a regular basis. I pinned a lot of shit on moving to where I am now, you know what I mean? And I think it took a good 3 weeks before the novelty wore off, and one second, it was bound to happen. I knew one day at some point someone will interrupt me whilst I'm doing this shit. I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh no, yep, that was it. Right, so it must have been a good 3 weeks after moving into this new place where I am now, where the novelty wore off, and all the demons that I had, or the insecurities, or the depression, or the PTSD that I had started flooding back. Because when I think about it, the first 3 weeks of me being there, a lot of it was getting the place together, getting everything moved in, which was a slow process, but I got it done eventually. You know, getting the place looking how I wanted, a little bit of decorating, having to figure out what things that I need to buy to be able to do this, that and the other, because this would have been the first time in a year and a half that I actually had a full kitchen where I cooked for myself. You know what I mean? I had a fridge freezer big enough that I could actually store a lot of food. You know what I mean? Things like that. You know, there was a lot of distractions to begin with, and then when all of those distractions had gone or died down, that's when everything came back, and I realised that no, just moving isn't going to solve all the problems that I had, even though for some reason I had it set in my head that it will, or it might at least. And it's taken me having to rethink things, getting a lot of help from the early intervention team that I'm with, and social workers, support workers and stuff like that. But it took for me to actually rethink how I saw things, because obviously I couldn't approach every situation or the rest of the situation, you know, in that same way or in that same vein. You know, this is a different situation. I've got to approach it differently. So I've got to look in myself, figure out the flaws that I've got, figure out where I'm going to be stubborn, where I'm going to give pushback to certain things, and try and change the way that I look and approach those things. I definitely relate to that quote. It's kind of like I've been through loads of jobs. I've got so much experience in call centres, but I've been through loads of different types of call centres, and some places have a completely different approach to dealing with customers than other places, you know. But more often than not, every time I started a new job, I would bring the old job mindset to that new job, and I would have to change my mindset and change my approach. But yeah, most definitely I relate to that quote. Most definitely. I think it's a brilliant quote. What's your interpretation of that quote? Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like there has been times where the scene didn't do or offer as much help or relief as you thought it would be? You know what I mean? That could be even relationships, you know. More often than not, we compare our new partner to our old partner, and sometimes you have to change that way of thinking to be able to move forward with this new partner, because obviously this new partner isn't your old partner. There's been a fair few times where I've had to do that myself. But yeah, with that, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you like the new setup with the selfie stick. You know, I hope you like the new setup. I hope it looks a bit better. It's a bit more, do you know what I mean? It's taken a bit of getting used to on my part, in terms of, because I may sway from side to side a bit. But I hope you're enjoying these videos. Hit the like button if you are enjoying it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. As I said before, remember, there's going to be definitely a Making a Beat video coming out later today, so stay tuned for that. I hope you have an amazing day. Take it easy, and blessings to you all.